but what is the cost to Oregon families? All three of the areas of funding that we look at are savings, retirement, healthcare, and compensation all come from employees. So at some point, I want to know what are these three, if we implement healthcare, compensation, retirement reforms like these, what does that mean to an average state worker? We know that right now we're at about 98% of market value for the employees that we have in the state as far as their total compensation, and what does that do to our competitiveness, our ability to recruit, if we drop well below a total compensation package that keeps us competitive with the private sector. And as the senator noted, what happens when people start retiring because they know we're having these compensation conversations, retirement conversations. They're at retirement, they know we're going to do something, and we're under a hiring freeze. That concerns me greatly because of the ability for our state workers to deliver services that Oregonians rely on. We need them there to do that. You know, I know that we are trying to save money and solve long-term problems, and I just don't. I know we're having larger conversations, but I want to make sure that we are consistently thinking about who is going to pay for these long-term solutions. And these proposals our state employees are paying for them, and I think that state employees have continued time after time to come to the table, whether it's foregoing raises and hiring freezes and the like, in order to help us save money in the budget and meet our financial obligations, particularly in downturns of the economy. But I want to make sure we're really cognizant in this conversation about the people that we're impacting. And frankly, like I said, I worry about our competitiveness in the workforce. I also worry about the impacts of both the cuts budget and these proposals on our economies, and what happens when you're in a community where a large employer is a school or a university or a hospital, and the state is a primary employer in your community. How will this impact our local, our local economies? A city like Salem that's chock-a-block with state employees. When we start making these real compensation reductions, what does that mean to a city like Salem? And finally, I just, Leader McLean yesterday said that, he wanted to engage in a process by which we first look at growing the economy. And whether, I adopt his philosophy and how we should be negotiating this, that's another story. But I do think that the reverse is true, which is what are the impacts of our cuts and of our of these compensation rollbacks. What impact will they have on the economy, and at what point do the decisions we make here either depress our economic growth or throw us into a recession? And I'm very concerned about that as well. And I know that we will be getting further information, but that's the kind of information that I'm looking for, is what are the economic impacts, one or two steps out from our Oregon families that have to bear the cost of these, personally bear the cost of these cost savings for the state.